Welcome to the recap, where we're going to go over the moments that make up the matches at the upcoming SWA pay-per-view, and the next big event might be our biggest show ever. Summer Showdown is right around the corner, and we can't wait for you to experience it with us. And the first match on the card is the three-way dance for the Openweight Championship. The champion, Nick Awesome, will defend against Logan and Johnny Unleashed. Ever since he turned on his tag partner, Unleashed has been stunted at every opportunity by Logan. And Logan has stopped his former friend from winning the national championship from Aztec Love Machine a total of 2 times, both of which without Love Machine even asking for it. With a victory over Logan's messenger, Alex Carter, at Crimson, Johnny is looking to finish the job that he started, but in a turn of events, it seems that goal has gotten muddy. Johnny's first rival out of the tag split has gotten involved in this feud. Nick Awesome, the current Openweight champion, now wants a piece of Logan after he cost him a non-title match against Unleashed. Awesome demanded to be added to their match at Summer Showdown, but owner Bell Hardwood only agreed to it if Nick could defend his title against Summer Jam opponent Brian Wright. And if he wins and retains, then he puts it on the line again at Summer Showdown. Nick defeated Wright, but a violent post-match beating has left Nick worse for wear. Awesome may have bitten off more than he can chew, with many believing we might see a new title holder come the night's end. It seems that Logan has manipulated his way into a title opportunity without even having a match since he returned. Unleashed looks dead set on getting his revenge on Logan, but his anger may blind him to the bigger picture once more. Who will come out on top and be SWA Openweight champion? We can't wait to find out. Next up is Antonio Briggs versus Jon Moxley. The Road to the Show Open Challenge has been a major success for the Uprising brand, and it's attracted big names from outside the company. But Briggs' match with Wheeler Yuta would spark a massive conflict, because Briggs would defeat Yuta but continue to lay into him after the match, which brought out the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. The BCC always looks out for its own, even when they're in other companies. Briggs would take out and shockingly defeat Danielson. Jon Moxley would spike Briggs with a paradigm shift, challenge him to a match at Summer Showdown. Can Antonio Briggs conquer this huge hurdle that's been put in front of him, or will the show be outclassed by the 3-time AEW World Champion? Up next, we're going to be talking about the aforementioned Aztec Love Machine when he takes on Alex Carter for the SWA National Championship. Alex Carter's attempt to win favour with his leader Logan has brought him to challenge for the National Championship. Of course, a belt held by rising star Aztec Love Machine. Love Machine would put Carter in a gauntlet where he had to defeat Delgado and then Panama AC, which would earn him a shot at the title. Carter was able to defeat Delgado, but the week after, Love Machine would attack during AC's match and give Carter the win via disqualification, giving him the title match at the pay-per-view. Love Machine has been annoyed by Logan and Carter's meddling in his matches. He wants to make an example of the young kid before refocusing his attention on Logan. But you can't help but feel that the national champion is underestimating his opponent. Carter has shown that he's much more than just Logan's lackey. But who's going to come out of Summer Showdown as the national champion? We have to wait and see. And the next match on the card is Zach Hopkins versus James O'Neill. The collective has imploded at Crimson, and 4.0 has been left in tatters. While Emily Rose has left the group to join Queendom, James O'Neill turned on Zach Hopkins, nailing him with a pile driver at Crimson, which gave the win and the tag titles to Gabriel Ace and Carmello Young. Hopkins' insecurities and horrific attitude towards Mello's exit from the group have led to the destruction of his team and the formation of this match. At the big event, it'll be a one-on-one affair with him and the former Koa O'Neal, but with a new look and confidence that's come out of this turn, James has quickly won a ton of fanfare from the audience. The question is, can Hopkins get the revenge that he's desperately been looking for, or will O'Neal drop him just like he did a month ago? Next up, it'll be Zero versus Molly Murphy for the SWA Women's Championship. And Queendom has completely taken over the women's division in SWA with the addition of the Rose sisters to the group, and they look unstoppable. But Molly Murphy isn't intimidated by them at all. She's the #1 contender for Zero's title, and this has caused the champion to decide to try and hatch a scheme. Zero attempted to organise a deal where if Murphy helped Queendom with some problems, their title match at the pay-per-view would be Queendom free. But Molly saw through the act, which brought out the group's backup plan. A mystery attacker was taking out enemies of the stable like Abby Slater and Misa, but Aria Fairplay would suspect the American Pharaohs due to their ongoing rivalry. But Megan Van Horn pointed the finger at Molly Murphy and Queendom. Aria would confront Molly about it, who denied all ties to the group. Later that night, the attacker would target Misa while Molly was in the back. The following week, Aria would take on Aurora Rose in an attempt to get some payback on the Rose sisters, who cost them their title at Crimson. But unfortunately, it would be Aurora who would come out of the match with the win. While Aria was down, the masked woman tried to attack again. Aria saw her coming but unmasked her, revealing that it was indeed Queendom's Liz Crawford. But what Aria didn't see coming was a knee to the face from Zero. Molly ran down to help, but got collected by Zero's bodyguard, Honor. And when things looked like it was at their worst, a returning Abby Slater came to save her friends. She chased off Queendom with a chair, and she, Aria, and Molly were left standing in the ring. Zero's master plan of having nobody in the corner of Molly has completely fallen apart, and now all she must look forward to is a war. Molly Murphy defeated Zero in her debut match in SWA, and she's looking to do it again on the big stage at Summer Showdown. But this time, the Women's Championship will be on the line. But the next match is a pair of aces, the team of Gabriel Ace and Carmello Young versus Beer Boys, which is Manhunter and Ryan Lusk, and it is of course for the SWA Tag Team Championships. And Crimson was a highly eventful night with several surprises, one of which was former rivals turned tag partners, Ace and Mello becoming Tag Team Champions. The other surprise was the return of the Beer Boys, who announced their return to active competition. This has brought out the newly minted champions, who challenged them to a match at Summer Showdown. Lusk and Manhunter would have their first match back on Mayhem and defeat the Playhammer Playboys, and then singles matches would be set up between Lusk and Mello, and then for Ace and Manhunter as well. Lusk didn't seem to have any ring rust when he defeated Carmello, but Manhunter could not beat Ace as his heavily braced legs gave out on him. A pair of aces have had a ton of momentum, and there seems to be no end in sight for either of them. It's going to be a tall task for the Beer Boys, and find out if they can get it done at the big show. And now, we have to talk about the main event of the evening, when Coren takes on Masato Keda for the SWA World Championship. While dealing with his former tag team partner Jackson Rust, the SWA World Champion Coren would run into the Pegasus King, Masato Keda, the man who defeated him at Autumn Assault almost a year ago. And the last man to pin Coren's shoulders to the mat, it's Coren, who has been beating challengers left and right So he began to taunt Keda from afar, asking him, "Why aren't you lining up? Why aren't you trying to do it again?" Well, at Crimson, that question would be answered. After defeating Rust and retaining his world title, Coren wasn't looking to just injure Jackson with that sledgehammer. He was looking to end his career once and for all. Keda would sprint down, chase off Coren before he could do anything, and then challenge Coren to a world title match at Summer Showdown. Since then, the SWA audience has been thoroughly behind Keda, unanimously believing that he could be the one to dethrone Coren. And this seems to have shaken the anarchist to his core, with most attempts of the usual intimidation and gaslighting falling on deaf ears. The only outspoken man who still isn't convinced that Masato can do it is Jackson Rust himself. Rust challenged Keda to a match right before the big event to see if he had what it takes to stand up to the champ. And they have their match in the main event of Mayhem, and they tore the house down. But before it could have a proper conclusion, Coren made his presence known, tossing referee Trey Count out of the ring and instantly knocking out Jackson Rust with a steel chair that led to the match being thrown out. He would then lock in the Kimura and attempt to break Keda's forearm. A clearly shaken Coren had to try and take out the biggest threat to his world title before they could even make it to the pay-per-view. Although it wasn't a complete break, doctors did advise Keda to sit out the match, but giving up is simply not in Keda's nature. Even with a hairline fracture, Keda will still challenge for the SWA world title. With this injury, the odds now look to have been rolled back in Coren's favour when it looked like they might not be, and the hopes of getting that world title off Coren looks to be gone. But Keda has defeated this man before. He knows what it takes, and he looks more determined than ever to do it again. Will SWA continue to be entranced by the darkness of the anarchist, or will the Pegasus King finally climb that mountain and become SWA World Champion? The only way to find out is to tune in, have notifications on, and be subscribed, and get ready for Summer Showdown.